Hi, good morning. James from Gamemore here, and welcome to 2022, the first video that we're putting out in this year. And unfortunately, it's been a bit of a change of plan already. We're 4 days into the new year, and this video was to be about planning. This was about how you're going to plan your 2022 as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, to get the most out of it. But I saw something in the last sort of 24, 48 hours that made me think that I need to do something slightly different first. We will come onto a planning video. That will probably be the next one that will come out next week. However, today I want to talk about scarcity and urgency. A lot of companies out there, whether you're a service provider or a product manufacturer, will operate promotions that are based with scarcity, i.e. there's only so many units or so many slots that can be filled before the doors are closed, or an urgency that you have to act now in the next X number of days, otherwise you'll miss out. And that's fine. It's fine to employ things like scarcity and urgency in your promotions, especially if you are a service provider. So a business consultant or a business coach like ourselves, we have scarcity. We can only work with X number of clients. We can say we can work with everyone, but that will actually mean that our service level will drop beyond our capacity. So if we can take on 50 clients, if we get to 51, 52, 53, our ability to deliver drops. And therefore, we do have scarcity. We don't state that we have false scarcity. If we have 50 slots, if we have 40 slots at whatever time of year it is, that's how many slots there are. And if we have 40 and the 41st opportunity arrives, we have to turn it down because we don't promote what's classed as false scarcity. We only will fill the slots that we have. Similarly, if we run a promotion that says for our service or any sort of service that we may offer is only going to last 7 days, that at the end of the 7th day, that offer comes off and we stop that. So for instance, in my business, we have a situation where we will go and market when we have gaps, as we have clients coming in and out, we solve their problems, they move on to something else, and therefore we then have a gap in our capacity. We will then run a marketing campaign that is there to entice other business owners who need our help and support and that we feel we can help them to come in for a short, medium or long period of time to fill that slot. Once that slot's filled, done. And we'll run this marketing campaign for probably 7 to 10 days. At the end of 10 days, it's unlikely that it will take 10 days, but at the end of that period, we will be at full capacity again and we close the doors and we don't do another one until we have reasonable capacity to take on a set number of clients. What we don't do is say it's a 7-day promotion and there are 10 slots. And then in day 7, actually, we're extended by another 7 days because we can add another 10 slots because we've got a lot of traffic, a lot of people coming in. It's 7 days, there are 5 slots. If the 5 slots get filled in the first 24 hours, the promotion stops. Yeah, that's not false scarcity. That's not false urgency. That is truthful. Now, the reason I bring this up and why this has been more key to put this video out now rather than the planning one, which will probably come next week, as I mentioned earlier, is if you go back to one of the previous videos I came up with just before Christmas, which was around checker trade. And for those companies that are in the trade, you'll be aware of who Checkertrade are. For those of you that aren't, Checkertrade is a lead buying site. It's a site where you can register as a trade company and customers can load a job on there, and then you, as a trader, you buy the opportunity to go and buy the lead and go and talk to the customer. You potentially quote for it, and hopefully you win the business. The problem being with that is a lot of people are going to it's a race to the bottom, and it's sometimes also the first offer. So a job can go up, 5 people can buy that lead, the first one goes there, quotes the job, wins it. The other 4 people that bought the lead have lost out because they've not even been able to quote potentially. Or if they have quoted, they might have quoted a reasonable price for the value of the work they do, but someone has undercut them and it's a race to the bottom. Now, this isn't Checkertrade's issue, and this isn't the reason, and I don't have an axe to grind with Checkertrade. I believe personally there are better ways to drive customer traffic in the trade, and I've got clients who are already doing that, where they're coming away from Checkertrade because they don't need that support, because they can find the business themselves. And this is the same with things like Rated People, Trust the Trader, and all of those as well. The challenge for me in the last 24, 48 hours about this type of video was pre-Christmas, Checkertrade offered a free membership up until February. And then the idea is beyond that, you then pay a subscription, which can be about £800 a year, potentially. And that was pre-Christmas. They obviously had a gap in their numbers, so they were offering free membership until February. So there's the urgency. Yeah, it was no scarcity. Anyone can join, but the urgency was you had to sign up because they were giving free memberships now up until February. So the end date was February. Now we walk into the early part of January. That offer is still on. It is now to the end of April. So clearly there is a challenge that they didn't subscribe enough people early enough to get to February, so they're now rolling that promotion further. Now that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It just doesn't sit right with the sort of offer and the business that I do with my clients. If you think about promotion offers, one of the biggest companies who promote all the time, in theory, is DFS. So DFS run or perceived to run an offer 365 days a year. They don't. They run 5 offers of 10 weeks, roughly, a year. So there are periods when they're not on offer, but the perception is that they're always on offer. But people understand that and they make a lot of money out of that. But for me, this is about having finite periods of promotional time that if you use scarcity, it's true scarcity. If you can only take on 10 clients, or you've only got 100 products to sell, you only take on 10 clients, or you only sell 100 products. And if people have to take action now, whether it's 24 hours, 48 hours, 7 days, 14 days, whatever, the end of the month, at that end period, that promotion ends. There is nothing else that can be done to extend it. You may tweak it, you may change the promotion somewhat and realign it, that's fine. But to have the same thing rolling on, all that does is it devalues your customer value and the customer perception of your brand, because you can't be trusted. Because you told us one thing, but you delivered something else. And this is all about creating trust in your customers, who are now probably the brightest and most intelligent and most data aware and have the most access to the most amount of data that they've ever had before, so they can unpick your offers. They're not silly. They know when you say, I've only got 10 slots, they know you've probably got more. But if you've only got 10 and you shut the doors at 10 because that's the true scarcity, they'll start to believe you. That's the important part. Apologies for being on my soapbox today and ruining the planning the 2022 video that's going to come. But I think it's important that if you run a business where you've got a service or a product and you're using promotions that involve scarcity or urgency, you are actually being truthful about that.